This is the Padres POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Padre fans? Welcome to your Padres POSTCAST on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, and a tough one for you tonight. And tough show for you this evening as the Padres drop another one. 4-2 is the final at Petco Park. Look, it's the first series they've lost this season. It's the first time they've been swept at home since 2018, right? So a whole lot of things to unpack and talk about with this one, but 4 games in a row they've now lost. They've lost 8 of 11. In that 4-game losing streak, they're 2 for 20 with runners in scoring position. They've scored 3 runs in 4 games. And today, the Rays were able to scratch out some runs. And remember, they were injured coming into the series as well. They were able to scratch out enough runs and get some brilliant pitching performances along the way, along with some excellent situational baseball. The Padres got a little bit of that too, but in the end, it just was they were unable to complete that, and they were unable to put it together enough to get any wins in the series. And again, like we said, they've lost 4 in a row, 3 in a row now here at home, and you have the first place. I said it, first place San Francisco Giants coming in. And think about who the Giants have played so far versus the Padres. Now, I've told you, the Padres 5-0 in March, and then now 12-12 in April. So the Giants have played the Phillies, the Yankees, a whole bunch of real good teams. Texas, you know what I mean, in there. 4-game series against the Phillies. They just finished last week. So I feel like their schedule's been tougher, and they've still come out ahead of the storm. And this is the problem with the Padres. The injuries aren't getting any better. Lockridge and Merrill are headed to Arizona to get some work in. I think Arise is going in the cage tomorrow. You know, the guy they might get back first is Hayward. The Hayward-Lockridge platoon is shot. 4 spots in the lineup have been completely shot with Cronenworth, with Merrill, with the Hayward-Lockridge platoon, and then, of course, with Luis Arise. So you got a 3-time batting champ, a runner-up in the Rookie of the Year, a World Series champ, longtime veteran in Hayward, and all of a sudden that depth is gone. And I took a picture of this earlier, and I'm going to talk about this after we get the show set, about what the Padres are dealing with right now. And, you know, Mike Schilt after the game, and he's supposed to say this, like, hey, everything is fine. You know, everything is fine. And there's nothing wrong. This isn't anything to jump over a bridge, blah, blah, blah. Same old stuff. All right, Padres POSTCAST on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for making us your first watch or listen of every day. Myself or Javier Reyes with Padres POSTCAST on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making us your first watch or listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are free on YouTube. We're free on Roku and free wherever you get your podcasts. And that would be, you know, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, you name it. And that would be it right there. Okay, so here's what we're doing. It's Padres POSTCAST on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. A lot to get to in a short time to do it in. Let's go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Gotta love the Sundays, Military Appreciation Day at Petco Park. First things first, you want to make sure you thank the people who keep us safe and allow us to continue living in the freedom that we enjoy. But look at the Rays scratching out runs throughout this game, and what a job by Simpson at the top of the lineup. That's his rookie just killing it. And how about this play by Fernando Tatis Jr. throwing out the runner Caballero at the plate? And yeah, that was a great play by Fernando Tatis Jr. The exit velo up over 100 on that throw as they decided to test him on a would-be sacrifice fly. And it didn't go so well for the Rays on that one. All right, Tyler Wade signed a minor league deal before the 2024 season. Elias Diaz signed last August, minor league deal being released by the Rockies. Gavin Sheets, Jose Iglesias, Oscar Gonzalez signed their deals before this season. And in between them, Tirso Ornelas on Friday was making his first start at Petco Park after 8 years in the minors with the Padres organization. So those are the guys you're replacing, Merrill and Arise and Hayward and all these great vets, you know, even though Merrill's a second-year guy. You know what I'm saying? You're replacing them with guys who are minor leaguers, career minor leaguers, guys who are here on minor league deals. So that's a tough one for any team, any organization to try to, you know, make it through an era and a time like that. And last year, let's not forget, and Schultz brought this up, Fernando missed a couple months last year, right? 2.5, I believe it was. Look at everything that happened last year with the injuries. Musgrove. You know what I mean? Look at the deals they had to make at the deadline just to be where they were last year. And they got a rise early in the season. And then at the deadline, you get Scott and you get Adam. Then you end up with 3 closers, and Tanner Scott's the only one not there anymore. So rookie Chandler Simpson racing home to score the go-ahead run. In the 5th inning, you had a walk and a wild pitch, right? A wild pitch, and that just was it. And that's all she wrote. And Randy Vasquez, more on his outing in a minute. But the score 4-2. We talked about losing 8 of 11. They've lost 4 in a row, 2 for 20 with runners in scoring position, all the above, right? But Simpson has hit safely in all 8 games since he made his debut on April 19th. He reached base 4 straight times, a walk, and 3 singles, scored twice and had an RBI single. So a 5-game win streak for the Rays, just getting hot as they came in here. And, you had a 1-in-5 pitcher come in, snap a 5-start losing streak. Zach Little with a great job there. And Fairbanks with his 2nd straight save and second straight and 6th overall for the Rays. Randy Vasquez, look, he was all right. He's 1-3. I mean, he's a spot starter when everybody's healthy. We've talked about this. Javi and I talked about this on our crossover the other day. He's a spot starter when everybody's healthy. So, look, the first 2 batters in the 5th retired. We talk about the insurance runs. No O in Padres has been a given lately, but the insurance runs have been a killer on this team. And the go-ahead runs. This was a go-ahead run, not an insurance run. They got the insurance run off Suarez in the 9th with a leadoff double. He retires the next 2, base hit, law of averages, what have you. The 3-2 lead, man, and by the way, Simpson's the guy who robbed Manny of a home run yesterday. So first lead in 4 games with 2 outs in the 2nd. Iglesias singles in. Bogarts, who had reached with a leadoff single off the glove of Caminero, the guy who would eventually be thrown out at the dish by Fernando. The Rays jumped ahead 2-1 on the 3rd. First homer of the season for Taylor Walls with 1 out. And then Brandon Lau, there he is again, had a home run earlier in the series with an RBI single. So, look, Fernando had another real good series. He's hitting almost 350. He's going to score about a run a game, it seems like, right now. And, it is what it is. You just can't emphasize enough. They're not getting enough opportunities with runners in scoring position because they're not creating them. And then when they were given the opportunities, or they created the opportunities, they weren't able to make anything happen. They weren't able to come through. So that's what's going on right now. The 4-game losing streak, 2 for 20 with runners in scoring position, 3 runs in 4 games. The bad insurance runs allowed, or the go-ahead runs, walks, wild pitches, and in the in that inning, right, and in the inning when the Rays took the lead. Let's go there. Let's go to that inning when the Rays took the lead, right? And that was the 5th inning. Now, remember, you took the 1-0 lead. They came right back out the next half inning. You got 1 in the bottom of the 2nd. They got 2 in the top of the 3rd. You got 1 in the bottom of the 3rd to tie it back up. They took the lead again, top of the 5th. So anything you could do, I could do better. It's been like that for the Padres on this skid, right? And then they got the insurance run in the 9th. So 4-10-0 for the Rays, 10 hits. It's tough to overcome that. And then 2-5-0 for the Padres. And of course, we talked about the pitchers of record and the save and all that stuff. But when you're looking at that 5th inning, for the Rays and how they were able to get those runs across, right? It's a shame when you see what happens here, right? Because Lau singles to right, and that was really where the inning. So Morejon is pitching, right? He came in for Vasquez in that inning. Came in late in the inning. So Vasquez starts the inning. Wall strikes out swinging. Jansen flies out to left. You got 2 outs, and you give up the single to Simpson, the rookie, the leadoff guy. And then Lau singles to right. Simpson goes to 3rd. All game long, they had another run later in the game, or earlier in the game, because the kid steals 2nd and scores on a single, right? That was with 2 outs after the home run when they scored their first 2 runs. And that was all the way back in the top of the 3rd inning. So a ground out, a homer, a pop out, right? And it's 1-1. But then after the pop out, you walk the next guy. And that's what's been killing Diaz or Vasquez. Right? That's what kills Vasquez, and the Padres and their bullpen has been fallen victim to this as well. So, you look at the rundowns and you look at the way that the runs scored in this game, and and Manny drove in Fernando with a sac fly, but the home run off the bat of Wells, they walk a guy with 2 outs. It's Simpson, right? Singles. Simpson steals 2nd, and Lau singles him home. So there's Lau again with the RBI single all game long, but Simpson stealing 2nd and scoring. Simpson scoring from 2nd on a base hit later in the game. just one of those things where you couldn't keep him off the bases, and every time he got in, he runs like the wind. Every time he got on the bases, he made things happen, and he was flying. All right, 4-2, the final today. The Padres had the lead. Hey, positive things, right? Schilt keeps talking about them. Then you got Pivetta going on Tuesday with the Giants coming in, the first place San Francisco Giants. This division has been amazing all year long. And there we go. I'm not sure why I'm fading off the screen, leaning to the left, like one of you driving. Oh, I'm lean back. There we go. All right, so the final 4-2. The Rays beat the Padres today, and again, 2 for 20 when runners in scoring position. Is not going to get it done. 3 runs in 4 games, but the 2-out runs they've allowed. Nobody on 2 outs. You allow rallies, things like that. The runoff Suarez hardly ever happens, so you're kind of surprised by that. And then with the injuries, you get that all are progressing in a good manner, and that means nobody is going to be back anytime soon. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. This is your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day, and we are just about to give you a couple of great deals from tremendous sponsors. It's by volume with this network, and you get the best deals from the biggest companies in the world when you do business with them because of us. After that, we'll talk to you about this lineup. We'll talk to you about anything they could do, change things around just a little bit, some news about some guys coming to Arizona for some rehab and all that. Still coming your way. It's Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I get a chance to talk to you about FanDuel, the NBA playoffs. Oh, tough loss for the Lakers today at Minnesota. Oh, man. And the Clippers yesterday against Denver, the SoCal teams with back-to-back brutal losses. But never fear, FanDuel is here to give you, new customers, an incredible way to get in on the NBA playoff action. Because right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you're going to get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists. FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and place your action on the action right now to claim your $250 in bonus bets today with FanDuel on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. There we go. All right. Took a second to load there for us, but there's nothing better than catching an MLB game live. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of the ballpark food. And Petco has the best ballpark food in the majors. If you're looking to go last minute, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. Trust me, I know I had to do all the other crap for all these other decades at 53. Now Game Time with last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as the game gets closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal. That's right. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On. And with the Giants coming in town, man, oh man, I can count on them to help grab tickets to meet my needs. The Padres need all that support. Good thing. One of the best home field advantages in all of baseball, right? Recently grabbed last-minute tickets for a game. Game Time with unbeatable prices means more money for food and merch. You get the Game Time Picks feature, which is unbelievable. It makes finding the best deals effortless, filters out all the fluff, highlights the top discounts in the stadium, and you can view every seat in the app before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Thanks for making us right here, Padres Postcast, Locked On Padres Podcast with Javi. Thank you from both of us for making us your first watch or listen every day, and your second for that matter. But for your next one, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every night, game night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right, 4-2 the final, and a tough one. We got a lot to do, a short time to do it in. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, G-R-I-E-S, at Jim Grease _ on social media. Give me a follow, make you holla. And while you're here, smash that subscribe for us, will you? Hit that bell so you get the alerts when we're coming your way with more content, Javi and me. And then, of course, come on into the chat and say what's up. You have got to start hitting the ball. Mike Schilt can sit there all day long in his post-game press conferences with the rose-colored glasses, and I'd be doing the same thing. Hell, I look at life with rose-colored glasses. If you watch through rose-colored glasses, if you watch this show day in and day out, you everydayers know, and you newbies will figure it out, this is what we do. We deal in reality, but we also deal in positivity, and we say, hey, it'll be all right. I'm not so sure it'll be all right now without a major shakeup with things that are going on. I don't want to make a trade right now when you're appearing to be a little bit desperate. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Unfortunately for you, the teams in your division have gotten off to as hot a start as you have. And the Diamondbacks scuffled a little bit early, but they've gotten hot since. The Giants have overtaken you. You got the Padres have struggled when you have, so that's been a real good thing, and you haven't played them yet. But you got the Giants coming in on Tuesday. Big division series early in the season. Got the day off in between. Pivetta, besides King, for my money, has been your best pitcher so far this season. So I like that Pavetta's taking the hill for game one. You know what I'm saying? And then if you look at game two, on Tuesday night is game one. And then game two on Wednesday, you got Michael King, and you want to be down with the King. He gave up, remember, only that one run last time out, and it was a tough one for him. Pitched really great. Might have had the best stuff that he's had. Now, the guys who are injured are not making progress like they should be, man. And these are things like the rib on Cronenworth. You're swinging a bat, think of the rib and how much time you have to get till it gets still stiff and it's still this and that and rehab and loosening it up and, changing your swing back to where it needs to be. And obviously, Lockridge and Hayward, that platoon, Hayward's getting closer to coming back than Locke is, and that's a real brutal one. Arise with the concussion, you can't rush that. That's a protocol you have to make it through, and he's on the field taking grounders and things like that before the game today and working like he should, so I'm excited for that. But the injuries have been brutal on this team, and Merrill's just been tightness, man. And Merrill's headed to Arizona, and he's going to get some work in. And I think Lockridge is headed over to Arizona with him to get that work in. And so we'll see. Absolutely brutal. All right, the final score, 4-2. The Padres lose today. We got to get on out of here. But
time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So the turning point can't be when the Rays got 2 in the third because the Padres tied it after that. The insurance run in the ninth just kind of put it away. It really was. And I hate to say it was a turning point in the game, but it was a big point in the game, and it gave the Rays the lead back, had the Padres playing from behind. You can't say a turning point that actually won them the game happened in the fifth inning when one run scored, but it's more like a thing with the Rays all weekend. Every time the Padres would either catch up or take the lead, the Rays would bounce right back, and they only had the lead once in the series today. But, you have Vasquez, and he's pitching pretty well. You gave up a solo homer. You gave them a run with 2 outs on a base hit, and, you got the guy on the bases making things happen, and that happens throughout the series when a guy like him is hot. When a guy like Simpson, he walks and steals second, Lau singles him in, and it just happens that way. And then obviously in the fifth inning, when the Rays take the lead, you get the strikeout and you get the flyout. You got 2 outs with nobody on. You get Simpson. There he is again with the single to left field. Now, remember, he singled and stole second and scored on a base hit to score that game-tying run. Well, now he singles, then Lau singles, and Simpson goes to third. Guess what happens? He's on third base. You're thinking about him just a little bit. You mean to throw a fastball low and away. What happens? It doesn't hit the dirt, which your catcher, Maldonado, expected it to do. It doesn't stay up enough. I thought it was a pass ball because he should have caught it, and I'm a former catcher and pitcher. But I thought it was a pass ball to give him a wild pitch. It's a wild pitch and then a walk after that, but the run scored on the wild pitch. You walk the next guy. Morejon has to come in and clean it up. The bullpen, by the way, San Diego's bullpen, fantastic again this afternoon. Absolutely fantastic. So there's your turning point, was that run in the fifth inning. It's 2 outs, man, and it's guys taking extra bases, and it's just getting things done. Maybe a little lapse in concentration there. That's a big thing. And the Padres really didn't have a whole ton of things going today. You had Joe walk, Iglesias sacrifices Joe to second, Wade strikes out, Diaz strikes out. I mean, it was that kind of game. And then bottom of the eighth, you go 1-2-3. Bottom of the ninth, you go 1-2-3. Not much going on there. The sixth inning, I don't know. I thought you could have gotten some done there. And in the eighth inning, you got Tatis, Sheets, and Maldonado, or Machado rather, and they're not able to get it done. So, and the Padres really, when you think about it, in the bottom of the third inning, when Bogarts comes to the plate, that's a sac fly from Manny. No real rally there. So, bottom of the second, you kind of had a little something going, and they got out of it. Wade with the ground out. Look, the Padres were in business, first and second with nobody out in the second, and that was their best chance in the game. So that was the turning point in my mind, was the run that Vasquez gave up in the fifth, because at that point in time, you're starting to think if the team takes the lead, the way the Padres are hitting, 2 for 20 in scoring position in the last 4 games, 3 runs in 4 games, you had to think at that point the game's pretty much over, right? You had to think the game was pretty much over. All right, real quick, one more thing before we get on out of here.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And how do you pick anybody else? And this is a great picture, too. This is the man right here, Simpson, at the top of the order for the Rays. He's the player of the game today. Without a doubt, man, this guy came to play, and he set the tone at the top of the lineup. Lau behind him was 2 for 5 with an RBI. Simpson 3 for 4, 2 runs scored, and a ribby. His average is 400. He was called up on April 19th. Couple of hits for Jankowski, who scored a run, the left fielder as well, and then the homer for Walls for the Rays. And then Zach was terrific on the mound, 2 earned runs in 5 innings, and then Fairbanks got the save. Meanwhile, for the Padres, Fernando 1 for 3 with a run scored and had the walk. And, it just is interesting. Gavin Sheets struck out twice, had a hit today. Bogarts 1 for 3 with a run scored. Gonzalez 1 for 4. Manny was 0 for 3 with an RBI. Iglesias 1 for 2 with an RBI as well. But man, oh man, Fernando at 346, the only guy in that lineup, still way up above 300. Remember how hot Manny was at the start? Dropped way down. And of course, with Merrill and Cronenworth and all those guys out, it's been a tough go. So, Fernando with a beautiful play from right field. They don't have a shot on our photography partner of the actual catch and throw, but there's the play at the plate, and a great job by Maldonado to lift the hand up of the runner. Fernando gets the assist, his first of the season, 21st of his career. Beautiful job by Tatis Jr. He's about the only guy right now who's balling out on the Padres, and the pitching's been good. Vasquez was good, not great. Pavetta's been phenomenal. You hope he gives it to you again with the Giants coming to town. And look, right now, and, obviously the games for today have yet to be completed. And you've got the Giants at 19-10. You've got the Dodgers at 18-10. And you've got the Padres now at 17-11, a game and a half behind the Giants and a half game behind the Dodgers. So where are we at with that? We are, boom, hold on one second. Just want to pull that up and make sure. I know Tuesday is the opener of that series between these two teams, and I am going to go ahead and pull up now real quick before we get on out of here. Just hit the schedule because we're a little bit over on time, but I know you guys are really enjoying the show. The comments have been phenomenal. The feedback's been great. Smash that subscribe, hit the bell. Come on in the comments. Got a couple of those to read before we get on out of here as well. Let's see where are we at for tonight, just real quick. Come on. Why is it showing it to me like this? There we go. All right, there we go. Let me just see what's going on here. And one more thing. All right, so there we have it. Looking for the scoreboard. Just waiting for the scoreboard to pull up, guys. The Dodgers beat the Pirates 9-2. I know that. The Padres lost to the Rays 4-2, and the numbers are skyrocketing right now. The Diamondbacks won, and the Giants beat the Rangers. So all the things that you didn't want to have happen today, now you have 2 teams ahead of you in the standings. And again, you got Pavetta on the bump in game 1, hoping he can give you some good pitching. But, nice day off for the hitters. Collect your thoughts, maybe get an extra day of cage work in. But they've run into some good pitching. They're lining up the ball. They were making good contact today. The Rays played outstanding defense. I'm not making excuses. I'm just pointing out everything, and on a day where it's military day, it's a tough one for the Pods. They end up losing. But I'll tell you what, man, a lot of pressure being put on San Diego right now with all the injuries. And then, these teams are real good teams, man. Giants coming in are a good team. You didn't expect that. They're playing a little differently this year, but the Giants are a real good team. That's all there is, Pods fans. There is no more. Your Padres postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. EJ's Pad. Hey, we lost because of Vasquez. He can't even get past 4 innings. Oh, we're not going to read what the second one says. That's a tough one. Yeah, it wasn't good. He gave up that 3rd run, and they had to take him out after the wild pitch and the walk. Quick hook for your number 4 starter. And remember, they sent Kyle Hart down. So there you have it. The final is 4-2. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you making us your first watch or listen every day. Don't forget Locked On MLB Game Night as well. But myself and Javi, postcast after every game, podcast every day with Locked On Padres, and you are right here for it on YouTube, right here for it wherever you get the audio version, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, all the above, and then you down with OTT. Yeah, you know me. On the Roku, we're free as well. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and I am extremely pumped to tell you that you no longer have to look at me leaning this way as I exit the screen. But also, Javi will be back with another one probably tomorrow, and we will be back with a postcast on Tuesday, and hopefully they can turn things around at Petco. Keep your game tight and your mind right, San Diego. Enjoy your Sunday night, and thank you for watching your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and we are out.